Hello everyone. In the digital era, do you know how important education is as a pillar of our cultural advancement? So, how can we ensure our culture doesn't drown amidst the stronger currents of globalization? In this video, we will invite you to find the answer by discussing 6 key questions that will broaden our perspective on the future of our nation's culture. So watch until the end because the answers are here in this video. The first question is, how does the cultural advancement law position education as part of the strategy for cultural advancement? So the cultural advancement law position education as the most important part of the strategy for empowering cultural resources as one of 4 main strategical actions. So there are protections, developments, utilizations, and empowerment. So what is the role of education in the empowerment strategy? The role of education in the Empower strategy can be through improving education and strengthening by stabilizing and then strengthening institutions such as art schools, cultural department at universities, and vocational training center or VLKI to train artists, cultural heritage workers, and then creative industry workers. Furthermore, it provides a certification system for cultural practitioners, such as certificate batik artists or cultural tour guide. The second question is, what does mainstreaming culture through education? Mainstreaming culture through education means incorporation or integrating cultural values, traditions, and practice into the education system and curriculum broadly. The goal is to make culture integral part of teaching and learning process, not just an additional topic. This includes integrating cultural values, knowledge, and practice into all subject and learning process. For example, in this science lessons, students can study the principle of physics in the construction of traditions, Trojan house, such as calculating the structure, strength of roofs and pillars. In language lesson, students can analyze moral values and local wisdom for folk tales, anthems, and method can apply the principle of deliberation and mutual cooperation in classroom discussion and group work. The goal is for students not only understand. One question is, how can education serve as a medium for internalizing cultural values among the younger generation? So education plays a crucial role in instilling cultural values through and the internalization process that make these values part of the personality and behavior of students. This internalization process includes like teacher role models. Teacher act as a concrete example in displaying cultural attitude and values such as politeness and mutual cooperation. For example, teacher always greets the students with a polite language appropriate to the local culture. Cultural-based project, student activity, work assignment relate to local culture, such as creating traditional artwork or researching regional history. For example, in the school project, students work in the group to internalize the values of mutual cooperation. Local content curriculum. Teaching local cultural skill and knowledge such as regional language, batik art, or local crafts is carried out formally so that students experience the surrounding culture. And then activities learning, providing hands-on practical experience such as performing traditional dance or playing regional musical instrument regularly. In the short, intellects of values education through these four parts can promote students who not only know but also practice these cultural values in their daily life.
The question number 4. How are some concrete ways to integrate cultural into school curriculum and learning activities? Integrating cultural values into the school curriculum and learning activities can be done clearly through 4 ways. The first is integrating cultural values through curriculum, such as including folk tales, local literature in Indonesian language lesson, history, and even English. The second is through project, like using project-based learning to strengthen the Pancasila student profile, which cultural themes like making occupation from local material or holding a traditional food festival. The third is through extracurricular activities, such as requiring or offering traditional art club, dance, music, regional theater, and local language. And the last is through the environment, like using decorations, language, or traditional ceremonies at school on certain days. Question number 5. How do formal, non-formal, and informal education contribute to the preservation of local culture? Formal, non-formal, and informal education work together in unique and complementary ways to preserve local culture. Formal education provides a clear and official framework to teach cultural knowledge through school subjects like local language, art, and history. Non-formal education is flexible and practical, teaching cultural skills through arts workshops, batik courses, or gamelan training that involve direct interaction. And informal education happens naturally within families and communities, basing on cultural values and tradition through daily interaction, like parents teaching local language use and traditional cooking. All of them support each other to keep local culture alive and sustained. The last question. What challenge does the education sector face in fulfilling the mandate of cultural advancement in the digital and globalization era? There are 4 main challenges faced by the education sector in fulfilling the mandate to promote culture in the digital and globalization era. The first is cultural erosion. Children tend to choose global K-pop or online games rather than learning traditional regional music and dance. The second is digital divide. Schools in remote areas have difficulty accessing digital cultural materials or showcasing cultural works directly. The third is curriculum and teacher potential. Culture is touched only briefly in theory because of a busy curriculum, and teachers lack training to teach culture in an engaging way. The last is change in moral and ethics. Negative content on the internet lowers student politeness and respect towards their parents and teachers. So, the conclusion is the education sector faces a big challenge in preserving and promoting local culture as digital and global influence affect students' attitude and learning methods. So, the effort to promote culture should include equal access to technology, relevant curriculum, and better teacher training, so that culture is not only taught theoretically but also applied and valued in daily